In a stunning interview that left conservative commentators scrambling for damage control, Vice President Kamala Harris took center stage on Fox News, confronting Bret Baier head-on in what turned into a high-stakes showdown. What was expected to be a routine discussion turned into a pivotal moment in Harris's political career, with the vice president confidently taking on Fox News's often adversarial stance toward her and the Biden administration. This live interview became an explosive example of how one of the most powerful women in U.S. politics can navigate an ideologically hostile environment and emerge victorious. What followed was a wave of commentary from Sean Hannity and his colleagues, with some casting Harris as angry or combative, while others were forced to admit she had outmaneuvered the Fox News anchors. This video will break down the interview's most critical moments, the reactions from Fox News personalities, and how Kamala Harris managed to turn the tables in a space where she was expected to falter. It's a tale of media, politics, and a battle over the truth, culminating in an unprecedented moment for live television. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We're on the road to reaching 5,000 subscribers, but we can't do it without you. So if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe right now. And if you're already subscribed, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know your thoughts. Alright, let's dive right into it. The setup. Fox News' strategy and expectations. From the outset, it was clear that Fox News planned to challenge Vice President Kamala Harris on various fronts. Hosted by Bret Baier, known for his hard-hitting but often fair interviews, the expectation was to corner Harris on key issues ranging from immigration to her perceived role within the Biden administration. The interview was scheduled at a peculiar time, just ahead of Baier's primetime slot, adding logistical pressure that seemed intentional to squeeze the vice president's team. Fox News pundits, like Sean Hannity, had already been critical of Harris leading up to the interview, framing her as unprepared and vulnerable to tough questions. They predicted that her performance would be lackluster, unable to withstand the network's grilling on controversial topics like the border crisis, crime, and economic policy. But what they didn't foresee was how well-prepared Harris was and how she would use the very platform designed to criticize her as an opportunity to showcase her political acumen. The showdown. Harris versus Baier. When Kamala Harris finally stepped into the spotlight, it was clear she had come with a plan. Baier started with questions about the administration's policies on immigration, but Harris, in her characteristic calm yet assertive manner, turned each question into an opportunity to highlight the Biden administration's achievements. Baier pressed her on the controversial issue of border security, attempting to frame the administration as weak on immigration enforcement. However, Harris remained unshaken. From day one, we've taken substantial measures to address immigration reform and enforce laws at the border, she responded, countering Baier's narrative by pointing to bipartisan efforts to strengthen security. She elaborated on the administration's successes in increasing the number of border agents and prosecuting criminal organizations, trafficking drugs, and weapons across the border, cutting Baier off at critical moments to ensure her points were heard. At one point, when Baier showed a deceptively edited clip of Donald Trump's past remarks about the enemy within, Harris immediately called him out. "Bret, with all due respect, that clip is not representative of what the former president has repeatedly said," she asserted, explaining that Trump's rhetoric had consistently demeaned Americans by suggesting that the military should be turned against them. The audience watched as Baier stumbled, unprepared for such a direct rebuttal. Hannity's reaction. Damage control begins. Following the interview, Sean Hannity was quick to take up the mantle of defending Fox News' performance. He wasted no time in criticizing Harris's demeanor, claiming she displayed her notorious anger during the interview. His description of Harris as angry and combative was seen by many as a dog whistle aimed at discrediting a powerful black woman. It was a familiar tactic, one that reduced Harris's confident and assertive responses to a caricature of an unhinged politician. Hannity even suggested that Harris was living in an alternative universe where she blamed every misstep of the administration on Donald Trump. This line of attack mirrored previous Fox News narratives, attempting to frame any Democratic response as deflecting responsibility. However, as much as Hannity tried to control the damage, his narrative rang hollow to those who had watched the interview. Baier on Hannity's show, defending the debacle. Later that evening, Bret Baier appeared on Hannity's show, attempting to justify how the interview unfolded. He explained the logistical difficulties, claiming Harris's team had given them limited time and appeared to be icing the kicker by arriving late to the interview. Baier's excuses felt like an effort to downplay the vice president's effectiveness in the discussion, shifting the blame onto her team rather than acknowledging the depth of her responses. Baier even suggested that Harris was on a mission to create viral moments that would play well across other networks and social media. In reality, Harris didn't need to manufacture any moments. Her command of the issues and her ability to counter Fox News' narrative spoke for itself. Jesse Watters and Don Jr., the right's relentless attacks. As the evening progressed, other Fox News hosts, including Jesse Watters, joined the chorus of criticism. Watters brought Donald Trump Jr. on his show, where the former president's son attempted to paint Harris as unhinged from the outset. She got steamrolled in a basic interview, he claimed, even though viewers had witnessed Harris maintain control throughout the discussion. Donald Trump Jr. went further, implying that the mainstream media would refuse to air clips from the interview because it would damage their supposed propaganda. But as it turned out, networks across the spectrum aired portions of the interview, showing how Kamala Harris had effectively used the Fox News platform to her advantage. The alternative narrative, praising Harris's performance. While Hannity, Watters, and Trump Jr. continued their tirades, other media outlets and political analysts took a different view. Commentators from CNN and MSNBC praised Harris for her composure and clarity during what they recognized as a challenging interview. Max Rose, a Democratic strategist, called it a home run, noting that Harris sent a powerful message by going into enemy territory and holding her ground. Republican voices weren't entirely absent from the praise either. Former Georgia Lieutenant Governor Jeff Duncan, speaking on CNN, acknowledged that Harris had handled herself well. He emphasized that her goal wasn't to flip hardcore Trump supporters, but to reach moderate Republicans who might be sitting on the fence. Harris's approach, he argued, sent a message of leadership, showing voters that she could hold her own in tough situations. Bret Baier struggled to regain control. In the days that followed, Bret Baier continued to downplay his interview's impact, but it was clear he had lost control of the narrative. Instead of delivering a knockout blow to Harris, Baier had inadvertently given her the platform to shine. His appearance on Hannity's show, where he admitted the Harris team's apparent attempts to ice them out, only served to highlight his frustration. Baier's excuses about the shortened interview time and Harris's delayed arrival seemed trivial in comparison to the broader takeaways. Kamala Harris had done what few expected. She faced Fox News' toughest questions, dismantled their talking points, and emerged more credible than ever. The aftermath of Kamala Harris's Fox News interview showcased the deep divides in media perception and political strategy. While Fox News personalities like Sean Hannity and Donald Trump Jr. desperately tried to frame the vice president as an angry, unhinged politician, the reality was starkly different. Harris had taken on the network in real time, rebutting their narratives, defending her administration's record, and exposing the flaws in their approach. Her performance sent a clear signal, not just to her critics, but to the broader American public, that she could handle high-pressure environments and emerge stronger. In an era where media influence plays a critical role in shaping public perception, Harris's Fox News interview marked a defining moment in her political journey. Hannity and his colleagues may continue to spin the story, but for many, Kamala Harris's ability to school Fox News on live television will be remembered as a turning point.